The United States is made up of people from many different backgrounds and cultures. There are around 300 million people living in the US as of 2012. Each person has their own view on what it means to be an American. In this video, we will show you their different perspectives on how Americans identify with their country.
My town represents to me basically just a small community of people where everyone knows everyone and everyone's business is everyone else's business.
My town is called Millville. It's really small. It's in Massachusetts. Nobody really knows about it because it's so small, which is fine. So it kind of represents a very close knit family, which I have at home with my 3 siblings. So my town being so small, it made me want to go to Boston and away because it's so small.
My town represents my childhood. It's where I grew up my entire life. I never left it until I went to college. So I have all my childhood memories there. So it just represents where I grew up.
To me, my town is kind of a place where I can go and get away from everything crazy that's going on in Boston and come back to this like serene, kind of suburban rural area with lots of farms, lots of mountains, but yet still kind of a lot of people, but still quiet enough that I can kind of just like have my own space and moments.
I don't know how I would say that an outsider would describe my town, but I know that in the past a lot of my friends from school have insisted that I live in a gingerbread town, which could be true. I don't know, I don't, but a lot of, my roommate last semester would always say that I live in a gingerbread town. That's how she would describe it. And hearing about the town meetings that we would have and the Christmas tree lightings and seeing pictures of my town, they would be like, you don't live in a real place. I don't know if that's true because that's where I grew up, so it's pretty real to me and it doesn't seem that interesting, I guess, but I think that it's a pretty quaint place.
It's quiet. It's definitely small. It's the biggest city in Maine, but it's still really small. It's a good tourist spot. There's a lot of beaches, like I said before. It's fun to go for I'd say a week tops. There's not a whole lot to visit.
I feel like outsiders looking in would think that we're just super hipster and we have a bunch of free music festivals all the time. We legalized marijuana this year. I feel like growing up outside of Seattle, I feel like people would either think it was really cool or just really, it's difficult to describe. It's just very, very laid back, very friendly, and I think most people might think that's cool, but the hipster haters out there might think that that's, a little questionable, but I love it.
I do in some respects because the culture is very interesting where I'm from. Georgia is very much mistaken as this redneck, hillbilly kind of place, but there are places such as Atlanta and Savannah in the town I'm from that are very cultured, and I feel like the people from my state are very genuine people. I feel like they're very sweet and they always have the best intentions for people. So moving to Boston and being around different types of individuals, I very much have respect for the place that I come from.
And I do feel pride for the state I live in just because I do respect how it made me the person I am today.
I feel tons of Arizona pride. I'm so proud to be from Arizona because, like I was saying, Arizona gets a really bad reputation a lot of the time. A lot of bad news stories come out of Arizona. But then you say, oh, no, but I'm from Tucson. And it's, it's just a place where, when you go to the grocery store, you see people even though if you do the math, it's not that likely. There's a million people, I don't know. But no matter where you go, just because it's a town that kind of thinks it's a city.
Yes, I do. I do. I moved to Boston with my dad when I was 3. I was originally born in Syracuse, New York on the south side, which is pretty rough. And I lived in Cambridge at first, and then I moved to Dorchester when I was in 8th grade. And both towns or cities or whatever, they really helped mold me into the person that I am today. And like, you know, the Cambridge side is very like earthy, crunchy, and everyone should get along, and this and that, and peace all over the world. And the Boston side is more kind of like the edge and like having the backbone and understanding, you know, when life hands you lemons, you have to make lemonade.
My state very much is the southern hospitality area, but I feel like it's still a very classy place. I feel like there is a lot of pride left in being a respectful individual where I'm from, always having like your best reputation put forward, and I feel like that's kind of not frowned upon, but I feel like that's a very forgotten aspect in a lot of places. And I feel like manners are also a very emphasized area where I'm from. And I feel like that's another area that's kind of disregarded in many other states.
California has a completely different mentality than the East Coast from what I have found so far from New York and Boston. I haven't gone to many other places, but in California, we have this laid back. I know everyone's like, oh, you're all hippy dippy. I mean, yes, in a sense, but in San Francisco, we believe that everyone should be accepted, and that when someone is passing you on the street, you don't look down or you don't completely ignore them. You say hello, have a good day. If a homeless man or a homeless woman asks for money, you don't just, you know, push them aside. You say, no, I'm sorry, man. You know, it's what you do. You got to be kinder, and I haven't found that as much as I have in California, but not the whole state. I'm just talking about like the Bay Area for sure, and LA, I guess a little bit, but not really.
There isn't much that sets my state apart from the U.S. I mean, there's no like big landmarks or like national parks or beaches. It's not warm except for the summer. So, not really much.
Pretty liberal state, I guess. First in like gay marriage. Now we have medical marijuana, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty liberal, pretty fun, very New England. There's like, yeah, old colonial stuff there too. I guess that's in other states, but it's good too.
I definitely prefer Europe. I definitely prefer Europe.
Why?
I don't know, I feel like here I feel a lot more relaxed and there's not as much pressure. Back home I feel like I'm always stressed, and here, even though there is still work that has to be done, it's just dealt with in a lot better way, and I don't feel like everything has to be perfect.
I definitely appreciate everything growing up in the United States. I actually kind of miss it in comparison to Europe. I think because of not only the convenience of being able to, of all the opportunities and all the options of everything, but the United States is interesting. I think we all kind of like, I don't know how to describe this. We all kind of get one another. Here in Europe, I feel like Europe is very like segregated from each other. So Italy is completely different from France or the Netherlands or this, that, and the other. But when you go back to the United States, you know, everyone kind of accepts you no matter what country you're from for the most part, what state you're from, this, that, and the other. I feel like it's a little more accepting. But I feel more appreciative of living in the United States now. Not for any reason in particular, but just this feeling that I get and about it.
Oh man, I hate the U.S. I don't want to go back. I don't. No, don't take me back. I like Boston. I don't mind it. I definitely miss like home and family. And at the same time, Europe, I'm probably going to move to Amsterdam when I get older, just because like, not for like the coffee houses or anything, because I don't do that, but just like, I don't know. I just like Europe a lot more. Everyone's so friendly. Boston people don't say hi to you. They don't. They'll walk down the street. I think they'd rather bump into you than say hi to you or smile at you. But here in Europe, they say hi, and that's really fun. So I feel like I'm gonna go back and say hi to everyone on the street. People are gonna just be like, "Who is this crackhead saying hi to me?" But yeah, I definitely pick Europe over US any day.
Well, she was an American girl.
The best at most things. And, you think of like, what's the most powerful country in the world? What's the most important country in the world? United States, hands down, no question. And it's kind of cool because, England's been around for millennia. The Netherlands has been around since a while. But America is, 237 years old. That's pretty cool that we've done that so far. There's already a very defined American dream, and that doesn't exist somewhere else. Like, it's not, there was never a great immigration to, Pakistan. There was to America. That's, we have the most rich, diverse culture that exists in the world, and that's something to be proud of.
Good. I would say I like living in America. I like where I'm from. I don't know if I'm a crazy proud American. There's a lot of things I think are wrong, and a lot of times that I would like to live somewhere else, or like to at least try living somewhere else.
I'm a European in an American's body. That's just how I feel. I feel like everything here, aside from obviously the language barrier, I just completely fit in with. I love the food. I love the understanding of different cultures, and I love how not liberal everything is, but just how understanding people are. And I think that that's something that America should absolutely learn from. Here in the Netherlands, you can drink when you're 16, and in the States you can't drink until you're 21, but in the States we have way more alcohol problems than we do here. And I think that looking to Europe is something that we all need to do, and I think it's really important. But so as an American, I describe myself as a European.
Let me just say, my name is Mara Schuster-Lefkowitz. I am me, and that's all that matters. I don't need to be an American. I don't need to be perceived as this white girl that actually looks like she might be Latina, because let me tell you the truth. I do what I want. I respect others. However, I will get to the top by being me, by providing for those that don't have a voice, and giving input on matters that aren't something that we should just all say, I don't want to get into this debate because I'm privileged and blah, blah, blah. Do your part as an American citizen to get your voice heard, to get your opinion heard. People won't agree because people won't do that stuff. Not trying to curse, I'm sorry. Woo, caught myself. Edit it out. Yo, live life to the fullest.
Now that we have traveled around Europe, we are able to look back and reflect on what it means to be born and raised in America. Even though we all go to the same college, we grew up in different places all over America. And as a result, we all have different perspectives on what it is like to identify as an American. We may all see ourselves under one flag, but that flag represents something uniquely different to each and every one of us.